business ideas, hottest business news dahil bagay sa'yo ang mag-level up sa buhay. Oplan Asenso, tuwing Sabado, alas 12 ng tanghali hanggang alas 2 ng hapon. Plan your Oplan na. Asenso is just around the corner sa Radyo 5 at 1PH sa Signal Channel 1. Magkano ang sweldo ng mga healthcare worker na makakapasa sa emergency hiring sa mga piling health facility ng Kagawaran ng Kalusugan? Kukumpyutin ang sweldo sa ganitong paraan. Basic salary plus 20% premium, bawas tax. Ito ay base sa salary grade at bilang ng araw na naka-duty. Ang iba pang mga benepisyo ay kukwentahin naman base sa mga probisyon ng Bayanihan to Heal as One Act o Republic Act No. 11469 at mga kaugnay na mga patnubay na ilalabas ng Department of Budget and Management. Ang mga detalye ng sweldo at iba pang benepisyo na nakasaad sa ilalim ng RA 11469 ay ilalagay sa kontrata. Para sa detalyadong impormasyon, bisitahin ang bit.ly/HRHHiringFAQs. Mag-email sa hcwhiring@doh.gov.ph o tumawag sa 7266-7979. Tandaan, together, we can beat COVID-19. Maraming salamat po. Teka! Usapang technology na. Sa panahon ngayon, napakabilis ng takbo ng buhay at mas mabilis sa mga pagbabago sa teknolohiya. Nakakahabol ka ba? I-take up na natin ang latest news, personalities, issues, tips, trivia tungkol sa technology, internet, cyber issues at social media. Tech Sabado, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi. Kasama ang ating techie kapatid na si Jing Garcia at tech journalist Atty. Melvin Kalimag. Nakakatawa, nakakaaliw, nakakamangha, nakaka-nosebleed ba? Tech Sabado. Nakakatekot? Na. Tech Note para wag mahuli sa Radyo 5 at 1PH sa Signal Channel 1.
Sa lahat ng mga magigiting nating mga kababayan sa frontline.
Pacheck po ng inyong ID.
Ilang malalim po. Lagi po tayong maghuhugas ng kamay, ha?
Check po tayo ng temperature.
Kayo ang aming mga bayani. Maraming salamat po sa inyong serbisyo. Lahat kami ay saludo at sumusuporta sa inyo.
Hatid sa inyo ng PCOO, DOH, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Pananaw sa buhay.
Save now, enjoy later, or spend now, struggle later.
Buhay at hanap buhay.
Mahirap maging successful kung hindi mo lang alam kung anong ginagawa mo.
Laging maaliwalas. Laging positibo.
Income minus savings equivalent to expense, pero it's not the principle alone eh. How does that principle apply to your life?
Gagabayan ka ni Wealth and Life Coach Ching Kitan para makaahon sa problema. Dahil ikaw ang dapat kumilos. Ikaw ang gagawa ng paraan dahil kaya mo yan. Tuwing linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 8 ng umaga.
Point A to point Z, tuturuan ko po kayo kung paano mag-start ng business.
Think positive. Bawal ang kokontra, bawal ang nega.
Hindi na bale, nawala akong iPhone. Basta, meron lang akong e-phone.
Sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Transmitting live from our brand new studios at TV5 Media Center and Reliance Mandaluyong. By land, by sea, and on air. Mula sa pinakabaksyong newsroom sa buong bansa. 25,000 watts. Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM. Iwanan mo na ang lumang tunog ng AM.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement. Matatag, di basta matitibag. Approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taong pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Power and Play! Narito na ako, Noli Iyala, kilalanin ang mga nasa likod ng bawat laro. Sa buhay man o sa playing court, game na tayo! Power and Play sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Alright,
day 202 po ng ating community quarantine. Ako, napakahaba na pala. Nakalampas na pala tayo ng 200 araw. At Oktubre na, mga kapatid. Diyos ko po, October 3 na po. At patuloy tayong nandito pa rin, nagbo-broadcast mula sa ating tahanan. At nung araw po, nung ako ay commissioner, nung pagdating ng Oktubre, yan ang panahon na nagbubukas ang PBA. Ngayon, saktong-sakto naman dahil malapit na po na magsimula muli ang ating kinagigiliwan na PBA. Diyan po sa October 11, magsisimula na. At marami pang mga liga. Alam ko yung Chooks to Go Pilipinas, President's Cup, yung 3x3 League ay magbubukas na rin. Kaya habang nagbubukas ang ating mga negosyo, magbubukas na rin ang ating mga liga. Ang problema, pati traffic, bukas na. wagas na. Kahit na nasa GCQ pa tayo. Napabalita nga po nung isang araw, kahapon, na si US President Donald Trump ay nagkaroon o nakakuha ng coronavirus, yung COVID-19. Mantakin nyo Presidente Trump na yan sa dami ng nagbabantay dyan, sa dami ng data na meron siya, sa dami ng health and safety protocol, abay nagkaroon pa ng coronavirus. Kung si Donald Trump po magkakaroon, tayo ay siguradong madaling-madali na makakuha kung hindi tayo mag-iingat. Kaya po mag-iingat tayo kahit na tayo ay nasa GCQ na. Magandang umaga po mga kapatid! Sabado na naman, araw po ng Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss at Tatag, Big Boss sa Tibay, and of course, ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Magandang umaga sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa atin sa pamamagitan ng Radyo 5 92.3 News FM, yung ating pong taxi squad, yung pong ating mga umuwi na mula sa mga duty nila sa call center, sa ospital. Magandang umaga po, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Magandang umaga rin po sa lahat na nakatutok sa 1PH over Signal TV. Good morning everyone. Thank you for joining us. We've got a lot to get to today. And of course, sa lahat po ng nagla-livestream sa pamamagitan ng Facebook Live ng Radyo 5 at ng Power and Play at sa Noli Iyala YouTube channel all over the world. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Sabi ko nga, marami po tayong tatalakayin ngayong araw na ito. Pamula sa PBA bubble, sa NBA bubble, hanggang sa eleksyon ng POC at sa Lpga golf. So napakarami po na tayo'y pag-usapan dahil ang dami na po nangyayari muli sa mundo ng palakasan. Ang isa na dyan, of course, ay yung bago na namang kabanata doon sa Sorsogon Bubble. Yung pong kontrobersiya na kinasasangkutan ng UST Growling Tigers. Well, doon po sa hindi pa nakakabasa, naglabas yung pong PNP doon sa Sorsogon na pinawawalang sala si Coach Alvin Ayo doon sa mga violations ng IATF protocol. Sabi nung report, yun daw mga player ng UST ay nagtatanim lamang. Dinala lang daw yun ni Coach Alvin dahil nabobor sa Maynila, walang magawa, dinala sa Sorsogon para magtanim at bilang kapalit ay pinayagan niyang mag-ensayo, mag-practice. Pambihira din naman ang kwento, no? Kaya gumugulo yung isyong yan at ating susubukan na makuha ang tunay na istorya dyan po sa mga isyong iyan. Of course, alam natin po ang mga kaganapan sa mga liga. Sabi ko nga, magsisimula ng Chooks to Go, ang PBA. Yung aking pamangkin, si Alex Ayala, mga kaibigan, magsisimula na rin sa French Open sa Roland Garros sa Paris. Dito pong bukas at Lunes. Magsisimula na si Alex, no? Nasa Paris na po siya. Dumating siya nung isang araw at naghahanda na po ang ating Filipina teen sensation sa tennis. Si Alex Ayala po ay sana ipagdasal natin dahil ang bibigat ng kalaban niya. She's seeded number 2 sa singles at ang kanyang makakasama po sa doubles naman ay si Elvina Caliva, yung dati niyang partner sa US Open.
So tayo po yung magdasal sana sa ating kababayang si Alex Ayala na maglalaro na sa French Open sa Roland Garros. Alam niyo po, nung isang araw, makwento ko lang kasi ito mga practical na bagay. Nung isang araw po, yung bang ako mag-isa sa sasakyan, tinanggal ko yung aking face mask. Mag-isa naman ako sa sasakyan, di ba? Abay, mantakin nyo, hinarang pa ako ng pulis. At lumapit pa yung pulis at nagtatanong kung bakit hindi daw ako naka-face mask. Hindi ba ho naman common sense yun? Mag-isa kayo sa kotse. At kailangan pa ba magsuot ng face mask habang nasa sasakyan? Ako lang naman ang sakay ng sasakyan. Sabi ko nga sa pulis, boss, pambihira naman. Ako na nga mag-isa hindi ba mas delikado pa itong ginagawa mo na lumalapit ka sa akin? May mga bagay na common sense. At isa lang, yan po ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong araw na ito. Yung pong ating pupulsuhan sa ating pulso ng bayan sa Power Play ngayong araw pong ito ay tungkol din sa common sense. Kasi po naglabas ang PBA dahil po sila ay sumusunod sa mga panukala ng IATF, yung pong mga protocol ng IATF na sinabi ni Secretary Vince Dizon. Ang panukala po, maliban doon sa mga ginagawa na nilang testing, social distancing, disinfection, at kung ano-ano pa, ito daw bawal daw po sa laro. Pag naglaro na ang Philippine Cup, doon po sa Angeles University Foundation Gym, pag naglaro na daw po, bawal daw po ang mag-high five o mag-fist bump habang naglalaro. Hindi ko maintindihan yun, kasi tayo lahat sa basketball, nagtatapatan na. Minsan nagkakasigawan pa. Yung talsik po ng ating mga ngala-ngala lumalabas na po dyan sa sigawan sa basketball. Yung pong daw high five at yung fist bump, dinidiscourage ng PBA. So ating pong pupulsahan ngayong araw pong ito, sa ating pulso ng bayan, sang-ayon ba kayo, mga kapatid, sa PBA Bubble Protocol na galing ito sa IATF, na nagbabawal sa high fives o at least dinidiscourage po yung high five at fist bump pagdating na ng mga laro sa Philippine Cup. Ulitin ko po yan, sang-ayon ba kayo sa PBA Bubble Protocol na nagbabawal sa high five at sa fist bump pagdating po sa PBA Philippine Cup? Kung gusto niyo pong magbigay ng inyong opinion at makasama sa ating talakayan, mag-text lamang sa aming hotline number 0949-691-4956 o di kaya sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Noli Ayala, at sa Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Pwede rin po kayo mag-post sa aking Twitter account, Noli Ayala, at sa aking Instagram @Noli Ayala. Simpleng-simple lang po. Ulitin natin, yung bang high five at fist bump, dapat talagang i-discourage sa mga manlalaro. Alright mga kaibigan, sabi ko nga, marami tayo pong tatalakayin. So let's get to it right away. Dahil ang dami nating bisita ngayong araw na ito. Bago nga pala yan, bago ko po ipasok ang ating mga bisita, gusto ko lang pong batiin ng isang happy birthday si Commissioner Ramon Fernandez.
Happy birthday!
Don Ramon El Presidente, Commissioner Ramon Fernandez ng Philippine Sports Commission. Happy birthday, sir. Idol, sana lalo ka pang lumakas at lalo ka pang magbigay ng ikapaggiya dyan sa ating Philippine Sports Commission. Happy birthday, Mon! At many more birthdays to come. Alright, at this time, ipapasok ko na ang ating unang segment, ang ating paboritong segment dito po sa Power and Play, yung pong ating segment na tinatawag nating Fast Take. Ito po yung segment kung saan ang mga members of the media, ang ating mga kapatid na sa hanap buhay, ang siyang pong magbibigay ng kanilang opinyon tungkol sa mga nangyayari sa mundo ng palakasan. At maswerte tayo ngayong umagang ito dahil ang mga kasama natin, mga respetado, mga de campanilla, mga broadcasters po ng ESPN5. Walang iba kundi si Dominic Uy at si Carlo Pamintuan. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Kong. Thank you for having me here.
Naku, good morning, Kong. Good morning, Carlo. Good morning, Dom. Nice to see the two of you. Talaga namang, kumbaga, miss na miss ko na yung mga pagbo-broadcast ninyo eh. Kaya, alam nyo ba na ako lumipat sa Signal TV para lang mapanood kayo? Hindi, totoo yan, ha? Kasi gusto kong mapanood kayo talagang. No, but let me, before we go to the fast take issues, guys, Carlo, let me ask you first. Una-una, ang ganda ng lumabas initially sa results ng PBA. Negative ang lahat ng mga manlalaro and officials, of course. And obviously, the players are having a ball. Meron si Bo Belga at saka si Ryan Aranya. Meron pang silang sari-sari store doon, si James Yap. Kung ano-ano yung dinala doon. This is obviously a good sign as we begin the Philippine Cup. Carlo?
Sabi nga ni Coach Topex Robinson ng Phoenix, parang mga nakawala sa hawla yung mga players. Ganun yung feeling, no? Because it's been months since they've been actually allowed to train alongside each other. So yes, nandun pa sa honeymoon stage eh. Hindi pa masyadong nami-miss yung pamilya, nakakapaglaro na ng basketball, mas may freedom. Syempre, mas may peace of mind knowing that everyone inside the bubble tested negative for the virus already. So it's all green and go right now for the PBA, and I'm hoping na tuloy-tuloy yung magiging ganda ng kanilang preparasyon heading into the resumption of the games come October 11.
Dominic, obviously walang fans, but a lot of people are already waiting for the television coverage na sinabi na ni Com Willie will be at par with the NBA. What have you heard about the TV coverage, Dom?
Well, yun nga, ang maganda dito is, even if there are no fans, really what the PBA wants and what the chairman wants and the entire PBA is for the fans who can't be in the venue is to really feel and be part na parang nandun sila. So what we've heard, obviously the schedules, there's going to be daily games. So araw-araw may PBA, whether you're going to be able to watch it on TV live stream or however else it will be broadcasted. But there's also a lot of innovations. Hindi pa sinishare sa amin lahat ng details, but the innovations by TV5 and Signal led by Sheno Olaso. So we're very excited about the things that they will show. Obviously, ang maganda dito nakita natin ang nangyari sa NBA. So there are things that we can see or kumbaga pwede natin gayahin. Pero meron din mga innovations locally as well.
All right. Well, we certainly are looking forward to that. Pero bago yan, ngayong umagang ito, kayo ang ilalagay namin muna sa hot seat. Ito po yung tinatawag nating fast take. And dito, it is your opinion that matters. Sabi nga namin, walang maling opinion dito sa fast take. At bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag magagalit. So, we're giving you 3 issues. You have 1 minute to comment sa bawat issue. Handa na ba kayo, guys?
Ready na ako?
Here we go. Let's go. Ang ating unang issue, alam naman natin ang mainit na pinag-uusapan ngayon ay ang NBA Finals. In fact, Game 2 is today. Mamayang alas 9 ng umaga over TV5 and Signal TV. Ang tanong, nung unang game, tinambakan ng Los Angeles Lakers ang Miami Heat, and it was not even close. So, ang tanong dito sa first issue, makakabalik pa ba ang Miami Heat dito sa NBA Finals? I'll start with you, Dom. You have 1 minute. Go.
Ako at the start of the series, sabi ko Lakers in 6. But I think it's even going to be more difficult now with the injuries of the Miami Heat. So, everybody was worried about kung may injuries yung LA, kung kakayanin nila yung Miami Heat or mahihirapan lang. But now that there are 3 injuries to the Miami Heat, it's really going to be more and more difficult. So I chose actually the Lakers in 6, but now with the injuries of Miami, I'm choosing the Lakers in 5. And that one game, dapat siguro yung tipong maka 30 plus points ulit itong si Tyler Hero or Robinson will actually knock down a number of shots. But I think it's made for the Lakers. Bakit? They're really inaalay nila dito sa fans ng Lakers, inaalay nila dito kay Kobe Bryant. It's going to be difficult to beat a team led by LeBron James, AD, and with that much push to win a championship.
Wow. A lot to take in there, but definitely from 6 games to 5 games, akala ko nga sasabihin mo sweep eh. So binigyan mo pa ng 1 game ang Miami Heat, Dom. All right. Carlo, the same issue. Alam natin na tinambakan ng Lakers ang Miami in Game 1. Makakabalik pa ba ang Heat dito sa finals ng NBA? You have 1 minute, Carlo. Go!
A healthy Miami Heat squad would have posed a lot of problems for the Los Angeles Lakers. Not saying that they would have beaten them if they were healthy. I'm saying that it could have made things very difficult, very uncomfortable for the Lakers. But without Goran Dragic, without Bam Adebayo, it will be a really tough uphill climb for the players ni Coach Eric Spoelstra. He is a tremendous coach. Walang duda dyan. And I think more than the championships that he won in the past, this season really pushed him forward and put him in the conversation as one of the best coaches in the NBA today, one of the top 5 best coaches in the NBA. But saying that, even that, I don't think will be enough to help the Miami Heat overcome their struggles, overcome those injuries. And unfortunately for us NBA fans, I think this is one of those NBA finals that we will remember na kinuha sa atin ng injuries. It would have been a really good series, but I don't think it will be the same.
Excellent take. Talaga namang sayang. I had expected a very good series. Of course, with the injuries now to Adebayo, Dragic, even Butler, sayang at talaga namang mawawala yung excitement. But you'll never know. Bilog ang bola, ika nga. All right, let's go to our second issue for the day. Alam naman natin that after what LeBron and AD have done in these NBA finals or in these playoffs, no doubt they are the best duo in the NBA today, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Ngayon, na magsisimula na ang PBA, sino naman sa tingin ninyo ang the best pair in Philippine basketball sa PBA? Carlo, I'll start with you. You have 1 minute. Go!
It's a very difficult question. Statistically, I think it will be Christian Stan Hardinger and Sean Anthony that will provide the best statistics as a duo. In terms of potential, nandyan yung Roosevelt Adams and CJ Perez of the Terra Firma Jeep. But overall, I think the best duo is still the guard combination of Barangay Ginebra. I'm talking about L.A. Tenorio and Stanley Pringle. Why? Because they have the statistics, they have the leadership, they have the pedigree, and they've already won a championship together last season. So yan yung nakikita natin as two players who would really make a difference for their teams, and they make beautiful music together. Stanley Pringle coming in eases the burden on L.A. Tenorio. Hindi na kailangan ganun kabigat yung gawing trabaho ni LA. He keeps him younger in a sense that he takes some of his minutes. Sa kabilang banda naman, LA gives Stanley that leadership quality, yung pampakalmang presence that Stanley did not have before, and that is why I think it's the Barangay Ginebra duo.
Excellent choice. Stanley Pringle, L.A. Tenorio. Naku, mahirap talagang itumbayan. Again, Dom, the same issue. LBJ, AD, the best in the NBA. Sino ang the best duo sa PBA? Dom, you have 1 minute. Go!
Well, I think in the PBA right now, the best duo, though may injury, Junmar Fajardo, Alex Cabagnot. I mean, I always like a duo that has an inside-outside presence, a center and a point guard. Junmar got a lot of his looks because of an Alex Cabagnot. You can get them on a pick and roll, you can get them on a straight post, you can get them running. And then tong si Alex Cabagnot is so good of breaking down the defense, but also he can also post up. So there's so many things that you can do. Si Junmar has that mid-range jumper. I think healthy Cabagnot and Junmar would be the best duo. The only thing is Junmar is not going to be playing. So punta tayo dun sa maglalaro. I would think Paulie Ian Sangalang. Dark horse in terms of a duo. Why? Paulie something to prove. Great shape right now. Really preparing for this. Wanting to win an All-Filipino Championship. Ian Sangalang as well. We saw how consistent he has been. Again, it's an inside-outside combination. A guard and a big man in the middle.
Very good choices. Alam mo, I would go with all your choices. And I would add maybe, just kung siya ay already healthy, I would add Kiefer Ravena and Kevin Alas. Those are two guys that certainly can line it up. And eventually will probably be a big problem for many of the teams. All right, talking about the teams, alam natin na pumasok na sila sa scrimmages portion ng ating restart. So ang ating third issue, as we look at all the teams now, alam naman natin kung sino yung mga paborito There you see, you have, of course, San Miguel, the defending champion. You have Magnolia, you have Talk and Text, and Ginebra. But when you look at the other teams, ang ating third take today, sino sa tingin ninyo ang dark horse o magiging surprise team sa PBA bubble? You have 1 minute, Dom. Go.
Well, I would have said the Magnolia Hotshots just because of they seem ripe, but kagaya nga ng sinabi mo, it's really because they've had a lot of success already. So if you're looking for a dark horse, I would say the NLEX Road Warriors, Kiefer Ravenna, Kevin Alas, Coach Yang Giao. He was the one who really pushed a major push to be able to go with this ball, and you understand how much is at stake. You've seen already flashes of brilliance for NLEX. You saw them lead in the eliminations, and parang kulang na lang yung last push. And I think because of how even it will be, taking away the fans, taking away a lot of the different distractions around, a young team like the NLEX Road Warriors could actually go all the way. And that Coach Yang Giao uses a number of his players. So kahit magkaroon ng injuries, these guys are going to be ready to play and, wanting to prove what they can in the PBA.
NLEX is right, and you are right, Dom. Talagang malakas din yung koponan na yan. Again, the question, Carlo, in this third and final issue natin, sino sa tingin mo ang surprise team o magiging dark horse ng PBA bubble sa Clark? Carlo, you have 1 minute. Go!
It's actually funny because this was the exact same question that you asked me and Dom when we guested in your show live before the season started. Before everything went to whatever it is today. It is the same exact question. So I would say that it's very tough to say because ang hirap hulaan how the teams will survive the games every other day, how healthy everyone will be. There are so many parameters you have to take into consideration. But in terms of which team can pull off a surprise, I think Northport is ready because I've already talked about Christian Stan Hardinger and Sean Anthony being one of the top big man duo in the PBA. Pero may mga batang players din that can play multiple roles. Kevin Ferrer, Jonathan Gray, Nico Elorde is an outstanding point guard. Sean Manganti could be a very effective rookie. So I think Northport can really do something good here in the bubble. They have a good combination of leadership and youth.
Well, when you're in the bubble, hindi lamang health, hindi lamang paglalaro. It's also mental toughness. Everyone will be tried inside the bubble. And that's why whoever has terrific leadership, terrific coaching will probably survive this ultimate test. Gentlemen, bagamat pareho yung naitanong ko sa iyo, babalikan kita uli, Carlo, next time. With a different question. But it's been a wonderful morning having the two of you. Maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak and good luck. We will see you at the games for sure, huh? And good luck on the PBA.
Thank you, Com.
Thank you, Com. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure indeed. Yan po mga kaibigan, ang ating mga kaibigan from ESPN5, Dominic Uy and Carlo Pamintuan with their opinion sa Fast Take segment ng Power and Play. Happy birthday to Ma'am Corazon Miradora Bantad from British Columbia, Canada. Happy birthday, Ma'am. O nga pala, get well sa ating kaibigan sa hanap buhay, Senyor Ray Pacheco. Mapagaling po kayo, Senyor Ray Pacheco ng DWIC. I hope you really, really feel better. Alright, mga kaibigan, at this point, tuloy-tuloy tayo. Dahil ang dami nating tatalakayin ngayong umagang ito. We are very fortunate. I've been trying to get her on the show. Finally, she has agreed. And it's really a big honor for Power and Play to have her today. A rookie sensation in the Ladies Professional Golf Association in the U.S. And right now, she is in New Jersey, in the U.S. for this live and exclusive interview. No other than our pride in Philippine golf and now a rookie at the Lpga, Bianca Pagdanganan. Good morning, good day, Bianca.
Hi, well, good night from where I'm at, or good evening. Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for, I've been trying to get you for the last few weeks. Finally,
oh my
say
God.
thanks to your mom for finally giving us this opportunity. Huh?
Yeah.
First of all, I know that you're preparing for your tournaments. You're there in New Jersey for the ShopRite Classic, and unfortunately, you didn't get to play. You did not qualify yet. But let me ask you, how has life been on the LPGA Tour?
It's been interesting, but it's also been a lot of fun being able to play with a couple veterans and just being able to learn from their games and just knowing how I can improve, especially with this being my rookie year. I think one of my goals is just to have fun. I try not to burn myself out that much because I know that I want to be here for a while. So I'm just really trying to enjoy this whole process. But yeah, it's been interesting, especially with this whole situation, not having spectators. But I think that kind of makes the transition a little easier.
Well, you're only 22 years old, and obviously you've got a long way in your career as a professional golfer. There was an article in Golf Week that said that you are living out your childhood dream. Is it all that you imagined now that you are actually there in the LPGA?
Yeah, it's still a little hard to believe, when you're actually living the dream. Like I said that when I was like, how old? I was probably like 8 years old or 9 when I realized that professional golf might be actually something I want to do. So now that I'm doing it, and I don't know, I'm just trying to like soak in this whole experience, this whole rookie year, and I'm really having a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, what is a typical day for you, Bianca? Just a day, huh? Whether you are, let's not talk about the actual competitions, but what's a typical day for you now preparing for a tournament?
Well, preparing for a tournament, so I would wake up. I don't really wake up that early, probably like 8. And then, well, now that I've been able to practice outdoors and leave the house, like I feel like it's been a little different than what my schedule was like during the quarantine. So I'd wake up at 8 and then probably head out to the course by noon and just be out there until for probably like a couple hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Before like when quarantine, I would wake up around the same time and then work out for an hour and a half, and then practice right after for two hours. So I think it's a lot nice that I get to practice outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when you were hitting. I read that you were hitting from your garage. Just to keep sharp and keep in form.
Yeah.
But that's your typical day when you're practicing. But when you're in a tournament, I know that you're preparing for the KPMG. Hopefully you make that one. What is a typical week when you prepare for a tournament? Because we know that professional golfers actually go through the course and they do all of these things. They measure. They have this notebook that they have. I don't know what they write there, whether it's they exchange phone numbers or they
just no. You write down notes.
What's in there? Bianca?
In a typical yardage book, it's just like, well, for me, it's just like a bunch of reminders, listing down my targets and like where to miss and just simple stuff. I don't try to overthink the whole situation. I just stick to that. But I guess like a typical week is we usually have 3 practice rounds. So I try to plan that accordingly. I don't try to play 18 just because I know that I'll be playing a couple days straight. So I try to it's kind of a strategy. You got to plan that. Like some do like 9 holes, 18 holes, and then 9 holes. It just really depends. But just choosing tee times you have to plan the whole thing just so you don't overwork yourself when the tournament comes.
Do you have a whole team to do this with you? From your workouts to doing all that measurement, coming up with all those notes and all the work that has to be done in order to prepare for a tournament?
Yeah, well, when it comes to workouts, I work with a physical trainer here, and then for the most part, I travel with my dad, and then I also have a caddy on tour, and then my swing coach is back in the Philippines, Coach Carito. So, when I'm warming up, I'm in the driving range, I call him on FaceTime or Zoom, and then just make sure that everything's in check. And then on the course, I talk to my caddy a lot. We discuss, the usual, like hole by hole, where to target, where you want to hit it, miss, and just talk about the right numbers. So yeah, I'd say yes, definitely. There's a team. You need that.
You have a regular caddy. Can we have the name of your regular caddy that travels with you?
Yeah, so right now, my caddy is Brandon Jackson, and I met him in July, like after my first two events. And he's caddied for me in Arkansas, and then he's gonna caddy again for me in Pennsylvania for the KPMG. So,
is he a single handicapper? Is he as good as most caddies are?
we don't really talk about that, but he says he's a good player. He says he hits it straight.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Talking about hitting it straight. There was an article, obviously, that and it has been a toast of the town. You are the toast of the town as being the most powerful hitter on tour today, with an average of let me quote this: 287.462 yards per drive off the tee. Now, your coach, your former coach, Laura Ianello, from Arizona, has said that is you have insanely fast hips. So where did this power come from, Bianca? Did you actually and consciously try to develop this power off the tee?
It's definitely from all the extra rice I ate as a child. I'm kidding. No. No. I guess it kind of helped, that sinigang. But I honestly, see, that's the thing. I'm not a technical person. I'm not mechanical. For me, golf is just all feel for me. So when people ask me, like, how do you hit? Like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. I just try to swing it as hard. And I guess just growing up, I guess people see me as athletic, and I'm kind of competitive. So I don't know. That's what I do when I swing. I just try to hit it hard, and it goes the direction that I want it to for the most part.
Are you surprised that you're out driving the whole field? Even your teammate Angela Yin from Arizona said that you it's just amazing what you're doing with the driver. And are you just surprised? And is this an advantage at all? Do you think that this is an advantage for you?
I guess it is an advantage, but I never really noticed that I hit it far until people actually started telling me that I did. Like in college, I didn't really, I don't know, I guess I never really paid attention to that until I actually played with other people who would comment and be like, you hit it so far. And I'm like, I just say, oh, thank you. It's sometimes I still don't know how to react to that. I'm just like, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, I'd say it is an advantage. Sometimes, it's nice to have a shorter club in. I guess I still have a lot of other things to work on.
Well, that's something that most people have said. You're very humble with the way you've conducted yourself on tour. There was a story that you played with the former number one Stacey Lewis, who was at that time very pregnant, and you outdrove her by 50 yards. But in the end, she came up with a better score. So I guess that means that obviously there's a lot of things, as you said, there are things that you have to work on. Which aspects of your game? Obviously, the drive is there, but which aspects of your game do you think that you still need to polish at this time?
Definitely approach shots. I guess just basing it off of like my stats for the past few tournaments. I feel like my putting is getting a little better. I mean, I'm working on it. Definitely need to dial in my wedges. But yeah, based on all like I said, I played with a lot of veterans and just, people who've been on tour for a while. It's just amazing, you realize you're at this level, but then you still realize that there's so many things you need to work on. So it's like, scrambling is so important. Just trying to save every par that you can save. Yeah. So I guess, definitely my wedges and scrambling, just trying to get those dialed in. I guess for the most part, that's what I have in on some holes. And, it would be nice if I actually get to hit it close and make a little more putts.
Very quickly, I know your driver is your favorite club, but outside of the driver, which is your go-to club right now?
Right now I actually really enjoy putting. I don't know, I feel like I've seen a huge improvement from what it was like in college, and I think my putter might be my next favorite club in the bag.
All right, you're saying that you are living a dream. You're surprised with what people are telling you. Do you still get starstruck now that you're playing with all of these international players, the Korda sisters, well, you haven't played with Jin Young Ko, but the Koreans, Hatoaka, everyone else on the field, do you still get starstruck there?
I guess sometimes, it's still hard to believe. Like I'm walking around, like I'm gonna go to the driving range and I see all these people playing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I only used to see these people on TV or when I'm tracking down scores, and now I'm actually playing in the same field, same tournament as them. I think it's still a lot. It's hard to believe, but at the same time, it's very, very grateful for this opportunity. And just like I said, being able to live the dream is something I won't take for granted, for sure.
So what's your dream flight? What's your dream pairing?
Oh my gosh. Oh, dream pairing. I guess some players that I would really love to see play would be, I don't know, it's always a lot of fun playing with players that are a lot better than you. I would love to see Jin Young Ko play. I would love to see someone make golf look so easy, where they just hit fairways and hit greens and make almost every putt. Are you asking me like just now in the LPGA or just in anyone?
In the LPGA right now, because it's not only
right now.
dream, it's gonna be reality.
Okay, well, it's gonna be probably Jin Young Ko and I would want to play with Daniel Kang. Seems like a cool player. Yes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Asians have been dominating the LPGA, and it's really great. And obviously, you as a rookie representing the Philippines is something new to everyone else. Now, do you think that's an added pressure on your part? You come from Asia, you represent not only yourself but a country that is looking for international success. Is that added pressure for you there?
I wouldn't say it's added pressure. I feel like at a young age, I've learned how to play for something bigger than myself. Like obviously it's not like the LPGA, but still I was able to represent the Philippines in different tournaments when I was younger. And of course, like I got into like bigger events in like high school, college, like I played the Asian Games, Southeast Asian Games. So I think that was good training for me. And I don't know, I don't think of it as pressure, but like,
all right.
It's just nice to know that there are people who support you.
I got a few minutes left here, Bianca, and I want to ask you about Yuka Saso as well as Dottie Ardina. Both are, of course, Dottie is with you in the LPGA. Yuka is campaigning in Japan, and she's doing very well.
Yeah.
What can you say? And are you hoping that one day all three of you will be all together in one tournament?
I'm really happy that they're all doing well, because hopefully we get to inspire younger golfers and hopefully create more professional women golfers, because it's a really fun thing to do. It doesn't feel like a job at all, but it's really nice to see them succeed. And I was actually able to play with Ate Dottie in the last round of Portland, and it was just like really nice to watch. And I don't remember the last time I played with her. I don't think I've ever played with her, but it was a lot of fun, and just like learning from her game and like outstanding putting. So hopefully we work on my short game a little more. But yeah.
All right, moving forward, you said you're waiting up for KPMG, Ladies PGA. That'll be next week. Are you actually already entered, qualified? And how many more tournaments are you going to be playing this year?
Yes, I am in KPMG already, but so that's a good thing. But I'm not 100% sure as to how many I have left yet. It just really depends on the playing field, and I'm just really hoping to get into more events after this.
And how are you preparing for KPMG Ladies PGA?
I have just been practicing. I actually just got home from a round of golf. I finished pretty late and it was kind of dark, but that's all I have. That's all I've been doing, just practicing. I don't think there's anything else I have to do.
Before or after, hopefully we'll get some news, and hopefully it'll be really good news from you. We wish you all the luck. And before I let you go, you're facing a 300 yards away from getting onto the green. Are you gonna go and hit? Or no, let's say 250, 260. What are you gonna hit? Are you gonna go for the green? There's water in front.
250. 250. If it's 250, I'm gonna hit a 3-wood. And I'm definitely gonna go for the green. I love
You're
being
going for the
aggressive.
green.
Aggressively smart. That's my thing.
That's the way to go. Keep driving hard and keep making us proud, Bianca. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
And good luck. Good luck in the KPMG.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Yan po mga kaibigan, si Bianca Pagdanganan ng ating rookie sensation sa Lpga. Live yan po mula sa New Jersey. And what a great athlete, what a great person. Bianca, very humble in all that she has achieved so far. Alright mga kaibigan, marami pa po tayong pag-usapan sa Power and Play. We'll take a quick news break. Ito po ang Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM News Update.
Narito mga balitang hatid ng Radyo 5. Mga kaalyado ni Congressman Lord Alan Velasco pinagbibitiw sa pwesto. Para sa detalye, narito si Zoni Esguera.
Hinamon ni Capiz Representative Ferdinand Castro ang mga taga-suporta ni Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco na may posisyon sa Kamara na bumaba na ang mga ito sa pwesto. Sa privilege speech ni Castro sa gitna ng plenary deliberation sa 2021 proposed national budget, bumwelta ito sa kampo ni Velasco hinggil sa umano'y paggalang ni Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano sa term sharing agreement na binuo ni Pangulong Duterte. Dapat na rin anyang gawin ng kampo ni Velasco ang patutsada ng mga ito ay Cayetano hinggil sa pagkakaroon ng palabra de honor at magkusa ng bumitiw sa hawak na pwesto at ibigay sa mas karapat-dapat na handang tumulong sa mababang kapulungan. Ilan sa mga supporters ni Velasco sa Kamara na may posisyon ay si Aambis OWA Party List Representative Sharon Garin na Chairman ng Committee on Economic Affairs, PBA Party List Representative Jericho Nograles na Vice Chairman ng Committee on Energy, Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero at Quezon Representative Mark Enverga na Chairman ng Committee on Agriculture and Food, Deputy Speaker Johnny Pimentel at Deputy Minority Leader Joseph Stephen Paduano. Umaaksyon, Sonny Reyes Esguera, Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Sa kaugnay na balita, sinibak bilang Deputy Speaker si Juan Pacman Representative Mikey Romero. Si Romero ay kilalang kaalyado ni Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco. Si Capiz Representative Ferdinand Castro ang ipinalit kay Romero. Itinuturing naman ni PBA Representative Jericho Nograles na insulto sa Party List Coalition ang pagsibak kay Romero. Si Romero ang tumatayo ngayong Pangulo ng Party List Coalition na ikatlo sa pinakamalaking block sa Kamara. At yan ang balita. Ako si Mon Gualvez ng Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Radyo 5 News Update.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Alright mga kaibigan, nagbabalik po ang Power and Play ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Konting lamang shoutout to Kuya Lito and Glenna Lozano. Magandang umaga, Kuya Lito and Glenna, Ate Glenna. Shoutout din po kay Auntie Joji ng Taytay Rizal. Auntie Joji, kamusta ka? Hope you're feeling well. Kamusta rin po kay Nelson Mangalindan. Good morning, Com Noli Iyala. Kay Ricky Kaliwan, magandang umaga po. Leonor Benitez, Nick Sansoet. Si paring Danny Soria mula sa Baguio City. Magandang umaga. Bukas na ang Baguio, ha? Commissioner Danny. Sana makapag-bakasyon tayo dyan. Kay Pinky ko, good morning po. Dolores Estrada and of course Lolet Fernandez. At marami pa pong mga nakatutok sa atin ngayong umagang ito. Siya nga pala, belated happy birthday uli, ha? Kay Governor Ben Evardone ng Eastern Samar. Happy birthday! I'll see you this week. Alright, at this point, marami tayong inaabangan sa pagbabalik po ng PBA. Pero isang grupo na matagal na nating inaantay ay yung pong pagtungtong ng mga bagong players sa PBA. Yung mga dinraft ba, noong pang, kailan ba yun? Pebrero ata o Enero, nung dinraft itong mga to. And finally, makikita na rin natin sa wakas ang mga rookies this year ng PBA. At ngayon po, makakasama natin ang PBA rookies na sila Roosevelt Adams, the top pick, doon po sa drafting noong 2019, siya po ay maglalaro sa Terra Firma Jeep, and ang mga rain or shine rookies na si Prince Rivero at si Adrian Wong dito po sa ating panayam. The pandemic class, the class that got caught in this worldwide crisis, public health crisis, and almost got robbed of your rookie season. And now you're going to be able to play, but only for one conference. So I ask you, Roosevelt, do you think your rookie year has been shortchanged, or is it just in your own mindset? It's just a blessing, even if you get to play only for one conference, that at least you start your PBA career.
I think it's a blessing. Unfortunately, this event had to happen, and we had to slow down and worry about our health. But it's a big blessing to get back on the court, and all us rookies are super excited to show our energy on the court. Too bad there won't be no fans, but the fans are supporting us through the YouTube TV stuff, so we'll feel the energy through that. And like I said, I'm super excited.
Adrian, you came from a winning program in the collegiate leagues, and obviously the adjustment has been, you've needed to make some adjustments with your new team. Given the situation that we see ourselves in, how difficult has your adjustment been so far?
Actually, I mean, one of the biggest things I had to get used to or adjust to is like how big the players are, how big the big men, when they set the screens, like how big you have to go around them, and how physical the game is actually. So, I've been hitting the weight room, like the whole team's been hitting the weight room. All the rookies, I'm pretty sure all the rookies are expecting for super physical games each and every time we go out on the court. But I feel like we'll be ready for that.
Yeah, before I talk about the actual bubble and the situation there, I know Roosevelt, you're not yet there, but you were just married last year. You're you're barely into your new chapter in your life, and here you are. You're about to enter the PBA bubble, which will take you away from the family for God knows when, God knows how long, because it all depends on how good Colombian Jeep can play. Now, is there any kind of concern? Is there any feeling of, I guess, doubt in your mind that, I'm leaving my family, and it's really going to help. It's going to affect your game when you get there?
We have had a long distance relationship through college, so I know how it feels to play when she's away from me, type of thing. So at this point, it's just another long distance relationship at the same time. Just being in the bubble while she's here. I know she's safe. I know she wants to go back home, be with family. That'll be to be announced, and we'll just see how this all goes.
Adrian, there are many things that you've done in college. You were asked to be a scorer. You were asked to be a defensive player. You've taken on, the big stars in collegiate basketball. What are the aspects of your game do you think that needs a little bit of polishing, a little bit of adjustment now that you've joined Rain or Shine and, that core of really tough players of Coach Caloy Garcia?
What I think is more of reading whatever happens on the court, because the PBA is more on ball screens and reading whatever happens on the court. I feel like I do a pretty good job at that, but of course, I'm always a student of the game, and always look for improvement. So I feel like that'll be good for me.
Well, when we talk about being a student of the game, obviously your mentor, Coach Tab Baldwin, has been a big part of your basketball. What are the lessons that you've learned from Coach Tab, and what are the differences that you've seen so far in terms of the style of your new coach, Coach Caloy Garcia?
One of the big lessons I learned, Coach Tab is not only a great coach, but he's also a great life mentor. So he's been teaching us as a team to be as professional as possible, even at the collegiate level. So, but the difference between his Ateneo and Rain or Shine, I guess, would be Ateneo, we had strict things that we had to do, but in Rain or Shine is more on I wouldn't say on yourself or by yourself, but you have to be responsible. You have to make sure you're eating right, you're getting your extra shots up, just basically being professional, like what he's been preaching to us all our collegiate career.
Well, obviously that'll work for you, and that'll really help your career. Roosevelt, I first met you when you were playing in the Chooks to Go Pilipinas 3x3 League, and you obviously impressed at that point. I really saw a gem, maybe a diamond in the rough at that time, playing against even the bigger foreign teams that came over here. What things have you picked up from that particular experience that you now bring to the PBA?
The experience is a lot. The game is much faster because it's of course a shorter court. From 3x3, I'll say always moving, setting screens, rolling. Physicality is always going to be there. So all I can say is keep moving. Somebody will be open. Just going off your movement.
I read somewhere, Roosevelt, that of course your father was part of the military, and that's why you kept on moving when you were young. However, you were actually recruited by a couple of collegiate teams in the Philippines, but you were not allowed to come over by your mother. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Why so? And does that have any bearing on now the fact that you're going to Clark, and obviously that's another move, and obviously it's also being away from family?
At the time, I was just finishing high school. Not many colleges were looking at me, so of course I took the JUCO route. But I had no knowledge of Philippine basketball, so I didn't know what was the top teams or what kind of league they had. And of course, my mom was born out here, so she knows everything about the Philippines. And as a mother, she wants me to, know what's the best decision for me. So I basically stayed in the States and tried to earn my own scholarship, which I did. And now I'm here in the Philippines. So it all happened for a reason. So that's how I see it.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about the bubble now. And I know that, Adrian, you've been there for a couple of days now. What has impressed you so far with the PBA bubble? How is the food? How are the rooms? How is the whole venue in Clark?
Oh, well, actually, we've been trapped in our rooms for the past 2 days, but it was just today that we got our results back. we got our results back. So we were allowed to, just like a couple hours ago, we were allowed to roam around the place. And actually, the place we have a lot of. It's actually pretty big, and the rooms. Obviously, we have 2-to-a room. We have roommates, and the place is actually pretty nice. There's a lot of things to do. The pool is big. There's pool tables, dartboards, and there's actually a park. And I saw an outdoor court over there, so I mean, we might have to check that out. So.
Yeah, sounds like a vacation to me, but it's not. So, what about the food? How is the food so far? I know you guys eat a lot.
The food is decent, but I mean, of course, I would like a little bit more, at least. A little bit more.
Yeah. All right. Roosevelt, is there something that you're looking forward to entering the PBA bubble?
Just to see the guys again. Just be reunited. I haven't seen the guys in about maybe 4 to 6 months. So reuniting with them again, and then it'll be special.
You know, obviously this is going to be a lot of work for you. It's all business for you guys when you get to the PBA bubble. But there will also be a lot of downtime. And, you know, I guess during those downtime, and we know that in the NBA, a lot of the players took up something. They played golf. They did fishing. Obviously, it's a different place. But how do the two of you expect to use your downtime while you're there in Clark? I'll start with you, Roosevelt.
Oh, that's easy. I'm a gamer.
All right.
Playing video games goes by hours and hours, and I wouldn't know. So,
there's my answer. Call of Duty,
man.
Oh yeah, let's play.
There's a challenge right there. What about you, Adrian?
Same. I'm a gamer also, but I'm also working on a blog like Matisse from the 76ers. I'm actually dropping some videos, so I mean, I actually brought my whole PC setup, so.
Wow.
We'll see what happens.
Change your career. You know, on that point, how much did the PBA allow you to bring?
Oh, as long as you could bring it, they were down for it. Like I know some of my teammates, they brought coffee makers. Like Bo and Ryan Arana, they're actually teammates, and they actually have like a sorry store set up.
I heard about this. I even saw pictures of James Yap's goodies. Is that true?
Yeah, it's crazy. They have a whole store there.
So Roosevelt, I guess you understand that it's allowed. So are you planning on adding on to your stuff going into?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I know I see some guys bring some TVs because they don't want to share their TV because everybody's bringing a PlayStation. So. That might be an advantage for myself to add some more merchandise to the package.
All right. Let's get to a little bit of a more serious topic here. And Roosevelt, you know, you're playing with a top pick. Outside of the Gilas guys that were chosen ahead of you, you are actually the top pick of this class. And, you know, that's a lot of pressure. And you've seen your team a little bit. What do you like about your team? Particularly, they're saying now that your tandem with CJ Perez is something to look forward to.
I think we have a special group this year. We have good pieces, tough guys. We love to run. We can shoot. Speed of the game is the best for me. So I believe I fit in perfectly, and I believe we're very dangerous this year.
You know, I've seen you play. You're not only a guy that can light it up, you can defend, and you've got the skills to do it. Have you been given any specific role by your coach so far?
So far, it's just play my game. No pressure at all. Score when you need to, rebound. I like to do everything. Whatever I need to do to help our team win, and that's my goal this year.
All right. Well, you know, you mentioned this a while ago. Roosevelt, there will be no fans in the PBA bubble, just like the NBA. And obviously there will be no boost of energy coming from them. Now, how do you think will your game be affected by this? Or will it at all be affected?
There might be a little effect, but at the same time, I grew up playing AAU ball. Fans were not packed or anything. It was just maybe family, some friends there. So I'm used to the atmosphere being at a low level. So we'll see how it goes.
Adrian, the same thing. Where do you get your energy? I know that, in collegiate, in the UAAP, all that cheering, all that screaming from
the drums,
alumni,
everything.
all the drums, everything. And that's where you pick up all that motivation, all that energy, enthusiasm. Where do the players now get that from?
I guess we're just gonna have to get it from each other. We have to do everything for each other. I mean, obviously it's gonna be different now, but I mean, now we're just playing straight basketball, and that's what we love to do. So it'll be interesting, but I'm pretty sure we all get past it after the first couple of games.
One of the more controversial discussions so far that has come out of the bubble is the directive or the rule discouraging high fives and fist bumps from the players. What's your take on this, Roosevelt?
I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I'm a high energy guy. I like giving encouragement, high fives here, there, chest bumps, just bring energy. Like, since we have no fans, how are we going to bring energy? But it's going to be very difficult. So we'll see.
Adrian?
Yeah, same. Of course, we always encourage where you get encouragement from everyone. Fist bumps, chest bumps, like running into timeouts. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different for sure.
Oh, we're very lucky that we have with us Prince Rivero of Rain or Shine. What are the things that you've liked so far staying in the bubble? Adrian said you were just allowed to roam a little bit today. So, are you excited to do a few things out there?
Of course. I've been on lockdown actually we've all been on lockdown ever since the pandemic. But then we got the chance to train as a team a couple weeks back before this bubble. And then we had to isolate ourselves again for 5 days before entering the bubble. So I'm pretty much trying to just stay inside my room and, try to minimize the contact I get from other people. It's not that alam mo yun, we're all negative naman but I'm just trying to put a little extra precaution to myself to minimize yung contact with others kasi it's better to be being a little extra safer than usual won't hurt naman.
All right. One of the hardest things staying in the bubble is the mental stress that you get. You're away from your family. There is a pandemic that's going on. And, obviously, you're going to be isolated for many, many days. How are you coping with this? The mental stress that you may go through? I'll start with you, Adrian.
Well, actually, in Manila, I actually live alone. So, I've been used to this, and coming here, and now I have a roommate, someone to make kulit with all the time. So it's gonna be different for me, but I'm pretty much used to living alone. So I think I'll be okay.
Roosevelt?
I think most likely I'll be fine. It won't affect my game as much in a way, being isolated. Even though I have a roommate, we could link up, talk about stuff, and have a good time. So I think I'll be fine personally.
Do you know who's your roommate already, Roosevelt?
Yeah, Bon. The other rookie. Yes.
All right. That's good. Batillier, no?
Yes.
All right. And Prince, I know you're your family is very close.
Yeah.
Are you gonna miss staying with them, being with your family?
Of course, I'm gonna miss being with my family because for the past 10 years, my life has been devoted to basketball, and I've been staying in Manila, and my mom and my baby siblings are back home in my province. And ever since the pandemic started, I've been staying in my province with them because the number of cases there are pretty much lower than in Manila. So it's the longest we've actually been together for the past 10 years, and I'm really, really thankful for that opportunity. And now that I'm here, I got work to do, and family comes first. But now that we're in this situation and we're in the bubble for the PBA, this is something unusual that we are now facing. So my primary focus is on getting to help my team and preparing mentally for the PBA. I get to talk to my family every day. I get to say hi, hello, tell them about how my day went and everything. I guess it's gonna be the adjustment I have to make in order for me to be of help to my team.
All right. As a parting shot, I know that you haven't played any scrimmages yet, at least even against the other teams. But from your own perspective, seeing the lineups on paper, let me ask. Obviously, you're not going to undersell your team. You're going to be there in the Final Four. But who do you think are the top 3 teams in the bubble? I'll start with you, Roosevelt.
You want to put me on the spot? Okay. Top 3. San Miguel. They're big. They have great weapons. Obviously, TNT. They just added some weapons. The last one, I'll say Ginebra. It's another weapon. A good, strong team. So I'll pick those 3.
Adrian?
Of course, I'll pick Ginebra, Talking Tex, and just to differ from what Roosevelt said, I'll probably put my team in there. So
I was going to do that.
Good choice, Prince.
For me personally, I think the opportunity that we have now, we have equal chances on getting a shot at what we're trying to achieve as a team and as a whole. Because it's going to be a whole different ball game now. There won't be any crowd, very limited people who have access inside the court and who's going to be sitting inside the court. So I think everyone has an equal chances on making it to the top. But like what Adrian said, I think I'm going to put my team in one of the top 3. It's just because that's how I believe in our system and that's how I believe in the things that we can achieve.
Po mga kaibigan, ng ating naging huntahan sa ating mga rookies, si Prince Rivero at Adrian Wong ng Rain or Shine at si Roosevelt Adams ng Terra Firma Jeep na ngayon po ay lalaro na sa PBA Philippine Cup. Napakatatalino ng ating mga player. Puro English no? Minsan nga kaka-nosebleed na tayo Pero ang matatalino po talaga and that's really a great indication of what has, how the players have developed sa PBA. At this point, marami pa po tayong tatalakayin dito sa ating second hour. Yung mga nag-aabang ng NBA, nagsisimula na po ang laban Game 2 ng Los Angeles Lakers at ng Miami Heat. Mamaya bibigyan natin kayo ng update sa mga score. At this point, gusto ko lang po magpasalamat sa lahat ng patuloy na tumutulong po sa ating palatuntunan na Power and Play. Gusto ko po magpasalamat sa Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, di basta matitipag, approved sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Maraming salamat sa kanilang Chief Company Innovator at Pangulo, Presidente ng kumpanya, Engineer Gilbert Cruz. Siya nga pala, Big Boss Cement, ang ganda ng kanilang presser para kay Jervin Angkas at Yumir Marshall. At maraming salamat muli sa suporta sa sports ng Big Boss Cement. Marami din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum sa ganitong pabago-bago ng panahon. Mga kababayan, sobrang init tapos biglang ulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum para tiyak na pangmatagalan. Alam mo na ba mga kaibigan na pagka ang yero nyo ay may halong aluminum, ito ay tumatagal? At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum. Yan ang Cherry Loom, tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay paring Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom. Marami din po salamat sa Elms Resto Bar Group. Ang Elms Resto Bar Group ay patuloy pong nagbibigay sa inyo ng masasarap na mga pagkain, including yung Homo Fried Itik at ang kanilang sinigang na corned beef. Ang almusal po nila, excellent. 4 po ang kanilang mga branches. Yan po sa Quezon City, sa Cali Bistro Commonwealth, Robinson's Novaliches, sa Poblacion sa Makati, at sa Brixton Street sa Pasig. Meron na po silang libreng delivery. Tawagan lang po nyo ang mga numerong nasa screen ninyo. Muli, maraming salamat kay Ma'am Malu Yambao ng Elms Resto Bar Group, Elms Kapihan and Bar. Marami din po salamat sa Joyride, ang inyong bagong kasundo. Ang Joyride po ay meron pong free delivery, and of course, wherever you are and whatever you need, we can deliver, and we'll do it for you for as low as 49 pesos. So book all your delivery and pabiling needs now via Joyride, ang kasundo sa pagtulong. Make sure you download the latest Joyride and Happy Move app. Marami din po salamat sa Maquillage Professional School of Makeup Artistry, ang official makeup ng Power and Play. And of course, marami po salamat sa Skin, Your Face and Body Anti-Aging Center. Ang Skin po ngayon ang nag-o-offer ng tinatawag nilang mesotherapy. Ito po yung nagtatanggal ng mga taba-taba, yung removing fat in areas like your stomach, yung pong inyong thighs, yung pong inyong buttocks, hips, legs, arms, and face, reducing cellulite, face wrinkles and lines, and tightening loose skin. Marami po yan, ha? Don't miss out. Head out to Skins Alabang branch now at pwede po kayo mag-book online consultations and order your skin products online. Call us at 0917-890-1640. Skin Alabang branch, Skin Green Hills branch dyan po sa Wilson Street sa San Juan. Marami po salamat kay Dr. G. Sarmiento at kay Doc Richie Sarmiento. Alright, at this point mga kapatid, gusto ko lang bang basahin yung ilang pulso. Hindi, ready na ba? Ready na ba si ating susunod na guest? Mukhang antabayanan po natin. Ang ating pong pag-uusapan sa susunod na segment ay ang Philippine Olympic Committee elections. Sa November 27 na po ang eleksyon ng bagong pamunuan ng Philippine Olympic Committee. At ika nga, naglabas na po ng mga gustong magkandidato. Ika nga, isa po dyan ay of course ang incumbent na Pangulo, si Congressman Bambol Tolentino. At ang kanyang makakatunggali po na nagpasok na rin ng kanyang kandidatura ay ang dating presidente ng GSIS, si Atty. Clint Aranas. Mamaya po makakasama natin siya. In the meantime, balikan lang po natin ang ating pulso ng bayan kung saan tinanong natin kung kayo po isang ayon sa ipagbawal yung high five at saka yung fist bump dyan po sa Philippine Cup. Naku po, ang daming nagkomentaryo. Medyo, ito again, tamaan, huwag magagalit. Huwag po kayong, ito po ang pulso ng bayan mula kay JM Galang. They are just using one ball. One ball! Naku, talagang galit na galit si JM. Ito naman kay Nino Cruz. Does that mean when sweats are flying due to power plays and intense moves, ref would flash the T? Parang technical daw. Ang dami mga sarcastic itong mga komentaryo ng ating mga galit na yung mga nagkomentaryo. Edwin Gallego, kung ganun din lang magtig-isang bola na bawat players o mag-chess na lang. Kaya nga nasa bubble para wala ng contamination from outside. Ginaya na din lang ang NBA, gusto pang maging OA para maiba lang. Galit na galit din ito si Edwin. Alam niyo talagang medyo alanganin kasi po yung ginawang polisiya ng IATF. Liliwanagin ko po sumusunod lang ang PBA dito doon sa IATF protocol. Yun lang hindi ko maintindihan kay Secretary Vince Dizon. Mawalang galang na po Secretary Vince. Ito po ay basketball. Iba naman ho yung linya ninyo, siguro iwan na natin sa mga eksperto. Ito mula kay Lo Tenorio Sulit. No, that's ridiculous. Players, coaches, staff, and officials were swab tested before they entered the bubble, and I believe they all tested negative. So what's the point discouraging high fives and fist bumps? These are part of human emotion in team sports. Yan po nga ang ating sinasabi. Yung bawal yung high five at yung fist bump, yung nagsisisigaw. Inaalangan naman po hindi sumigaw yung player. Pag sumigaw ho yan, siguradong talsik ang lahat ng fluids, pati po pawis. Kaya naman po, hindi natin maintindihan itong polisiyang ito. Meron po anonymous, they are using the same ball for a period of time and you're telling me they cannot fist bump or do a high five? Plain, toot. Meron po siyang sinabi, hindi natin masasabi yan. Ito naman po si Apollo Reyes. Ang OA, sobra. OA. Talagang wala atang sumang-ayon. Mula naman po kay Errol Grimares. Great morning, Noli. Minsan kailangan din natin maging magpakatotoo. Harap-harapan na naglalaro ang players, kaya dapat pwede na yung high fives. My wife Grace and I supports power and play all the way. Marami po salamat kay Errol Grimares ng Team Pure Pest Control. Uy, talagang pati yung pest control, Yan nabanggit ko yan. Yung kumpanya nyo. Marami po tayong mga komentaryo dito tungkol dyan sa ating pinulsuhan. At ang dami po talagang mga di sumang-ayon. Kung Willie, siguro naman, alam ko, sabi mo nga, wala namang pena. Hindi naman natang bibigyan ng fine. Pagsasabihan lamang. Pero kahit po yung pinagsabihan, parang hindi ata tama. At sa akin pong palagay lamang sa dami po ng pinagdadaanan ng ating mga player. Wala nga na pong mga fans, malayo sa kanilang mga pamilya. Naka-isolate po sila sa mundo. Kahit na pataas ng pataas po ang kaso ng pandemya, sila po ay nandoon, naglalaro, nagsasakripisyo, nawalay sa kanilang mga minamahal sa buhay. Wala pa pong fans na magbibigay sa kanila ng enerhiya. Pati ba naman ho yung high five at saka fist bump, papakailaman pa natin. Huwag po sana. Dahil yan po ay parte ng laro. Yung pong paglabas ng emosyon. Huwag na po natin yan bigyan ng kahulugan. At huwag na po nating i-discourage. Mantak dapat po atin pong i-encourage. Dahil yan na lang po ang magbibigay ng energy, ng lakas, ng enerhiya, at ng gana sa ating mga player. Aalisin pa po ninyo yan, talaga naman pong mawawala na tayo ng emosyon dyan sa paglalaro. Kayo rin po, ang itsura ng laro baka mawala ng saysay. Minsan po, yung itsura ng produkto mas mahalaga pa kaysa sa actual na produkto. Alright mga kaibigan, pinaghahandaan na po natin ang ating susunod na guest, pero bago po yan, magbe-break muna po tayo. News break muna tayo dito po sa Power and Play ngayong Sabado ng umaga. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement, tatag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay Cherry Loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM, News Update.
Narito mga balitang hatid ng Radyo 5. Implementasyon ng No Beep Card No Ride Policy ipinatitigil. Para sa detalye, narito si Zoni Esguera.
Iginiit ni Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas na suspendihin muna ang no beep card, no ride policy ng Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board o LTFRB. Sa paglulunsad kasi ng no beep card, no ride policy sa EDSA, bus carousel at iba pang public transportation, ilang mga manggagawa ang hindi na nakapasok ng trabaho dahil eksakto lamang ang dalang pamasahe at inireklamo din ang mahal na singil sa kada beep card. Hiniling ni Brosas na ipatigil ang policing ito dahil sa presyo ng beep card na nasa 80 pesos kada isa. 100 pesos na load na may kinakailangan i-maintain na balance na 65 pesos at 5 pesos na convenience fee sa kada pa-load sa mga third-party service providers. Bukod dito ay pinare-refund din ng kongresista ang ibinayad ng mga commuters na napilitan lamang sa cashless payment para makapasok sa trabaho. Iginiit na kongresista na hindi dapat ginagawang sangkalan ang pandemya at health protocols para pagkakitaan ang mga kawawang commuters at manggagawa. Apektado na rin anya ang mandatory policy na ito ang 300 konduktor at ticketing inspector na nawala ng trabaho. Sa gitna ng pandemya, lunsod na rin ng implementasyon ng cashless payment system. Umaaksyon, Sonny Reyes Sasguera, Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Kinasuhan na ng National Bureau of Investigation ng graft at malversation sa Office of the Ombudsman ng ilang opisyal ng Philippine Health Insurance Corporation o PhilHealth na dawit sa umano'y anomalya sa Interim Reimbursement Mechanism o IRM. Kabilang sa kinasuhan ng nagbitiw ng PhilHealth Chief Ricardo Morales, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer Arnel De Jesus, Senior Vice Presidents Renato Limsiaco Jr., Israel Francis Pargas at 5 iba pa. Nag-ugat ang reklamo sa questionabling grants at advances sa ilang ospital sa National Capital Region. Ayon kay Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, may ihahain pa silang mga kaso laban sa ilang PhilHealth personnel at kanilang mga kasabwat sa anomalya sa mga susunod na araw. Sa ibang balita, ipinanukala ni TGP Party List Representative Jose Teves Jr. ang pagtatayo ng quarantine facilities sa mga mahihirap na bayan. Paliwanag ni Teves, ubos na ang pondo ng mga 4th at 5th class municipalities at wala nang magamit para sa quarantine facilities. Ayon kay Teves, walang kakayahan ng mga maliliit na bayan na magtayo ng quarantine facilities dahil umaabot lamang sa 1 o 2 milyon ang pondo ng mga ito sa loob ng 1 taon. Kadalasan ayon sa mambabatas ay dinadala sa mga multipurpose hall o basketball court ang mga locally stranded individuals o mga COVID-19 cases. Paliwanag ni Teves, kung magkakaroon ng kalamidad ay magsasama na ang mga COVID-19 cases at mga napinsala ng kalamidad. Ipinanukala rin ni Teves ang paglalagay ng sub-testing sa mga island provinces upang mapabilis ang pagtugon sa mga possible COVID-19 cases. At yan ang balita. Ako si Mon Gualvez ng Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Radyo 5 News Update.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement patag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement, matatag, di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay.
Mukhang kailangan ko na naman palitan ng bubong ko, pare. Mag-iisang taon pa lang yan. May tulo na kagad.
Ay, bossing! Baka naman kasi hindi matibay yung ginamit nyo. Dapat ang gamitin mo ay cherry loom, ang yerong aluminum. Basta yero, cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero.
Ang nanay ko, doktor.
Si tatay ay nagtatrabaho bilang pulis.
Ang ina ko ay isang pharmacist. Akong amay, usa ka nurse.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Araw-araw nilang nilalagay ang kanilang buhay sa peligro. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, hindi lang para sa mga mahal nila sa buhay, kundi para sa ating lahat. Kaya't sa ating mga Filipino frontliners, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Lahat kami ay saludo at sumusuporta sa inyo.
Hatid sa inyo ng PCOO, DOH, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Alright mga kaibigan, right now po, kagaya ng pinag-uusapan natin kanina, kasama po natin ngayon ang isa sa mga tumatakbong Pangulo ng Philippine Olympic Committee, ang presidente ng Archery Association ng Pilipinas, walang iba kundi si Attorney Clint Aranas. Magandang umaga, Attorney Clint. Good morning, Attorney Clint.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Attorney Clint, pasensya na, tayo medyo naubusan ng oras and I really wanted to get you as early as possible.
Morning po.
Attorney Clint. Oh, good morning, good morning. Okay, let's get straight to the point, Attorney Clint, no? Kayo po ay isa sa mga kakandidato bilang Pangulo ng POC. Ano ba ho ang ang rason
Sir,
kung kayong...
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Can you hear
yes,
me, sir?
naririnig po namin kayo. Naririnig po namin kayo.
Technical issues. I cannot hear you, sir.
O sige, Gab, siguro let's try Attorney Clint muna, mamaya-maya, or kasi marami pa po tayong dapat talakayin ngayong umagang ito. Hindi natin makuha si Attorney Clint. Kanina pa po namin sinusubukan. Yan ang problema pag talagang work from home based on technology. Kaya nagrereklamo yung iba talagang mga nagkakaproblema pagdating sa connections, no, connectivity. Siya nga pala, pinag-uusapan niyang work from home, yung school from home. Nako mga kaibigan, yung mga guro na ewan ko ba, parang nakakuha ng pagkakataon, pahirapan lalo ang mga estudyante. Unang-una may mga guro po, hindi naman po nila lahat. May ilan-ilan dyan, marami pong guro na magagaling. Minsan ika nga, hindi imbis na magturo, inaasa na lamang na matutunan ng mga bata ang mga leksyon. Hindi ho po pwede kahit na tayo nasa pandemya, magsipag po tayo, hindi ho po pwede yan. Ako naman nagpapatakbo rin ng eskwelahan, pero siguro kailangan nating pagsabihan ang ilan. Meron mga ibang bata na hindi rin po magandang asal, pero nasa sa teacher din po yan, kung pwedeng sana sipag-sipagan natin ng konti, yung pong ilan dyan, hindi po natin sinasabing karamihan, ilan lang po na minsan nagkukulang sa paggiya sa ating mga kabataan. Alright, babalikan natin si Attorney Clint. Hopefully, kasi medyo mukhang may technical problems yung kanyang pinanggagalingan. Pero at this point, mga kaibigan, ready na po yung ating susunod pang mga bisita. At ang ating pong pag-uusapan, ang kasalukuyang nangyayaring NBA Finals na ngayon po ay nagsimula na ang Game 2 ng Miami Heat at ng Los Angeles Lakers. At tayo po'y mapalad today na dalawang veterano ang makukuha natin sa ating segment na ito. Walang iba kung hindi ang ating kaibigang si The Dean, Quinito Henson, at ang NBA correspondent natin, Homer Sayson from Chicago. Good morning, Quinito!
Good morning.
Good morning,
Chong. Good morning, Quinito. How are you?
Good morning, Homer.
Hi, Homer.
Good to see the two of you. Nako, bihirang-bihira makuha ko yung dalawang talaga namang nirerespetong mga journalists pagdating sa NBA. And let me go straight to the point before we go to, bago natin himayin kung ano nangyari at anong pwede mangyari. Let me ask you, gentlemen, bakit at the end of this bubbles experience, it is the Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat standing here? Because alam natin, last year, they were not even in the playoffs. Of course, there were obvious reasons for that. And if I asked this to Homer before, kung ikaw tatanungin last year, LA, Miami magpa-finals, malamang sinabi mo, loko-loko ka, di ba? Pero narito na tayo, LA and Miami are the last two teams standing. Bakit sila head above shoulders above everyone else here, Quinito?
Well, first of all, bago nagsimula yung playoffs, I predicted that the Lakers and Miami would go to the finals. And many people were saying, bakit? Because nga, last season, hindi sila pumasok sa playoffs. But I just felt that the LeBron factor was so dominant. And the fact that he has made himself more of a team player by even becoming the league's #1 assist man. I thought in his mentality, the fact that he's 35 years old and in the 17th season, he felt that it was time for him to go out there and make a push for that 4th championship. You know, he's not really a finals winner. he's more of a finals loser. In 9 previous finals, LeBron only won 3 championships. So now that he's coming on in age, he's approaching the twilight of his career, although I think he can still play up to way beyond 40 years old. And then he put in that big piece in Anthony Davis. I just thought that his determination and the passion that the Lakers have in trying to win a championship, they haven't won since 2010. I thought that was the perfect recipe for them to go back to the finals. And for Miami, there were stretches during the regular season that I thought Miami was doing very well. And I also had the feeling that Coach Eric Spoelstra was just waiting for the right time to spring on his opponents. Good chemistry as far as the Miami is concerned. And if you match that with good coaching with Eric Spoelstra, I felt that they had a big chance in the East. I'm not a lover of the Milwaukee Bucks. I called Milwaukee before the playoffs even started the most overrated team in the NBA. And they were the #1 team in the league. So again, people were saying, but naman overrated. I don't believe in Giannis. He may have been the best player last season, but he was not the most valuable. So, I thought it was also lucky for Miami to get Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, because if they matched up against Toronto with Siakam, and with Ibaka, and with Marc Gasol, mas mahihirapan si Bam Adebayo. I just felt that Boston couldn't match up with them in the middle, because I called that Daniel Theis the weakest link in the Boston chain. And sure enough, they just attacked him relentlessly, and they killed him. They destroyed him in that game, Game 6. You saw Adebayo just went wild with 32 points. So I thought Miami got lucky that they had Boston as their adversary in the Eastern Conference Finals, because if it were Toronto, malamang baka Toronto pang pumasok. But Coach Eric has a way of playing his cards right, and he did it well.
Yun ang talbog ng bola, Ikang. A lot of things that happened, stars aligned. Homer, what were the key moves that you thought these two teams made that put them in this position right now?
First of all, I agree with Quinito. I think the Lakers, the sense of urgency, LeBron is realizing na yung window niya is closing. He is a 30%. He has a 30% success rate in the NBA Finals. He cannot. This is a finals that is his to lose, and with LeBron being the leader of that team, and I could even say he is also the GM and the coach. So if the focus is on him, he's telling everybody, and they're all disciplined. They have no violations. Look at Houston. If Kyrie Irving were playing, he wouldn't last 3 days in the bubble. It takes a different type of personality, patience, persistence. Yun ang sinabi natin, di ba? We always say, sports is a microcosm of life. And in life, ano bang sabi? You are a product of your environment. This environment in the bubble, no visitors, no loved ones, this was built for Miami. The discipline that they have, the persistence, the patience, the culture of hard work, focus talaga sila. Look at the players. Consider this. When the Miami Heat came into the bubble, they were previously starting Kendrick Nunn and Myers Leonard. They were taken out of the rotation because they were late in the bubble. That's your 2 starters during the regular season. Tapos they added Dragic and Adebayo to start. So what I'm saying is, nang sabi nga ni Quinito, the chemistry of the Miami Heat and the discipline. That's why these two teams are in the bubble. And lastly, I agree with Quinito wholeheartedly. Daniel Theis was a power forward masquerading as a center. So it was so easy to see him, Adebayo, dominate Daniel Theis. But when he came in the finals, Game 1 against the Lakers, even though he got injured, but people forget, before the injury, Adebayo was 2 of 8. He was lost in the wilderness of those Lakers bigs and long arms. 6'10", Panay, Dwight Howard, and they didn't even play JaVale McGee. It was 6'11", but Howard and Davis are both 6'10", and Adebayo is 6'9", and both players are very physical. So, he was really just thrown off of his game. So,
well, alam mo, magkakasubukan din ngayon. Obviously, siguro this would have been different kung hindi to bubble, as you're saying right now, and clearly all of the factors aligned just to get these two teams to the finals, and they are here right now. Now, I was gonna ask you, if I thought Game 1 was close, I was gonna ask you about all the other factors that would have happened in this series. But dahil nagtambakan nung game 1, I have to go straight to game 1 because now it just changes the whole complexion of the series, no? Ngayon, may injuries pa ang Miami Heat. But let's go first to game 1. Even before the injuries came, the Lakers had a tremendous stretch from about the end of the first quarter to about the third quarter. They outscored Miami 83-44. They had an offensive, the offensive rating of the Miami Heat dropped to 75.3 points, which is the lowest ever in this season. And the average was about 85 offensive rating, and that was against the Lakers. So ang tanong ko, Quinito, is what happened here? What happened in game 1 in terms of the Miami Heat offense, as well as what did these Lakers do to make it so difficult on defense? Quinito.
Well, sa umpisa pa lang, no, nasabi ko that this matchup, Lakers versus Miami, is a matchup between playing physical and playing tactical. The only way that Miami has a chance to beat the Lakers is if they play tactical, and of course if they have a complete lineup. And the Lakers, they just play physical. They're just too big, they're too strong, and all they have to do is to impose their power on the court, and Miami's going to back off. And you saw what happened with Bam Adebayo when he tried to move against Dwight Howard. He injured his left shoulder because of that collision. And that's how strong Dwight Howard is. And Bam Adebayo is just no match for him in terms of physicality. I also thought that Coach Eric Spoelstra took a very risky gamble in game number 1. In the early minutes of game number 1, the Miami Heat attacked. And they probably thought that the Lakers were going to wait for them to take outside shots. But then Coach Spo said, no, let's bite the bullet. Let's go strong. Maybe you can get some of the big guys of the Lakers in early foul trouble. And, well, you know, it worked for a while. They had a 13-point lead. But if you're attacking, if you're trying to score inside, if you're trying to play a power game against the Lakers, you're just playing their game. You're not playing your game. Miami's game is you play a nice tactical zone, you shoot from the outside, you have motion against the big guys of the Lakers. That didn't happen. You play the Lakers game, which is physicality, you're going to lose. There's no way you can match up against the Lakers in terms of body weight and in terms of sheer size. And, you know, that's what happened. That big turnaround was triggered by, well, actually a lot of good outside shooting, but the Lakers, but they just pulled away. They just pulled away because of their sheer size. When they started to get spacing because the outside shots were falling, it was just game over. And, you know, I was watching the first few minutes of game number 2. 12 of the first 14 points of the Lakers came inside the paint. And, you know, that's how the Lakers play. They're going to impose their will. LeBron is a man among boys. There's nobody who can stop him. When he wants to go inside and power, patay na ang kalaban. Dwight Howard, I mean, what an imposing figure. Anthony Davis comes in. You know, Howard played, what, 18 minutes? Less than about 15 minutes in game number 1. But he was able to impose his strength by those 8 rebounds. It was more Davis moving inside to challenge Adebayo. And as far as Davis was concerned, he's also a matchup nightmare because he can shoot from the outside. He's a big guy inside. Before the finals, I said the Lakers would win in 5 or 6. That's assuming a complete lineup of the Heat. Now that hindi na kompleto ang lineup ng Heat, I'm changing my prediction to maybe 4 or 5.
Wow.
I think the Heat would be lucky to win one game in this series. But, you know, my prediction doesn't change. The Lakers will win it all. I said that before the playoffs. I said Lakers and Miami in the finals, but the Lakers to win it all. And that's going to happen.
Homer, alam ko that you had predicted the Heat before everything else, before the finals started in 7. But you also said that definitely the Lakers have the size. And I already said, we've discussed this, that Anthony Davis has always been key in their first 2 meetings. He was key. He was the big factor for the Lakers' win. Now that this has happened, Homer, I want to get your take. Bakit mo sinabi Heat and at that point? And do you think that there's any chance that the Heat can come back in this series?
Well, I picked Miami for two reasons. Number one, I think they had the shooting that could lift a page out of the Houston Rockets. They could outshoot the Lakers from three-point range. The Lakers are not a very good three-point shooting team, 35.5% in this bubble. But in game one, they made 6 of their 11. You can't guard that. If the other team scores more than half of the three-point shot, and then they kill you in the points in the paint, you really just don't have a chance. The second is, I thought that although the Lakers, I fully understood na may size advantage ang Lakers, but I thought with Adebayo and Olenek and Myers Leonard, they would be able to negate that advantage. But as we saw in game one, 62-40 in rebounding. I mean, it's just like Quinito said, the size is just impossible. This is like David and Goliath has the slingshot. So napakahirap. And then you also, look, just consider how locked in the Lakers are. In the regular season, the Lakers were number 20 among 30 teams in free throw shooting, 78%. In game one, they were 92.9. They were number one in the NBA, 25 of 27. So when it comes to pressure moments, great teams, match the moment, the enormity of the moment. I never thought Caruso. I know Caruso was good. He was all this, but then I saw him make 3-point shots and make plays in game one of the finals. He played better than Tyler Hero. Hero, the more advertised, the more sexy pick, but he was 6 of 18 from the field. So, I think if you look at game two, like Quinito said, the first 12 points of the Lakers, first 12 of 14, 12 of their first 14 points were in the paint. And that is just, again, the Los Angeles Lakers utilizing their size advantage. And lastly, yung saying na one man's trash is another man's treasure. Dwight Howard, he was paid by the Atlanta Hawks to walk away. They bought him. Now he went to the Lakers, he got paid $1.5 million, which is not even guaranteed until January. But look at him now. He is a very big factor in the NBA Finals. And I think, is it too late to change my pick?
Things have changed in the NBA Finals because ang dami ng injuries ng Miami. But to the point that you were making about free throws, in game number one, the Lakers connected on 25 free throws. That's 25 free throws made. Miami Heat connected only on 11. That's a 14-point disadvantage right there against Miami. And the reason is, number one, the Heat's inability to contain the Lakers without fouling.
Yeah.
Because these guys are so big. So you try to stop them in any way you can, you end up fouling them. And so the Lakers keep on going to the line. And number two, the relentlessness of the Lakers. Those are the two reasons why they were plus 14 in the rebounding department. And then, as Homer also mentioned about the rebounding disparity, that's plus 18, which was also the margin of victory of the Lakers in game number one. That rebounded advantage is an indication how big, how awesome is the front line of the Lakers. And LeBron is the most valuable player in this league. And while Anthony Davis may be the leading scorer of the Lakers, it's LeBron who's making Anthony Davis look so good. And before the finals, he was averaging over 8 assists in the playoffs. In the regular season, 10.2 assists a game for LeBron James. He's the most valuable player. No matter what you say about Giannis, he had good numbers. Milwaukee was number one. That guy is nowhere close to LeBron. No way.
That's another debate. But and obviously, talagang a lot of people are upset with that particular decision. But again, that's water under the bridge. And I agree with you, Quinito. I'm a LeBron believer. I obviously think that he's more valuable than Giannis. But again, that's for another day. But here's the thing: even in game number one, yung transition frequency of the Heat and the Lakers, 8.6%, meaning they did not have to run. They just walked down the floor. It was an 8.6% transition frequency, and therefore they just needed to space the floor, get the shots. Again, it's the sheer size. So now Coach Spoelstra is saying he has a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Homer, now with the injuries, what are those plans B and C? Obviously,
I think
plan A is out the window now.
I think we go to plan D, which is desperation, because there really is no other option. Consider this. I mean, the numbers do not lie. When Adebayo and Goran Dragic were starting for the Miami Heat in the bubble. They outscored the opponents by 8. They outscored the opponents in 16 games, a total of 55 points. Without them in the starting lineup, the Miami Heat are minus 18.2. So then, madali sabihin na, you're gonna replace him with Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn is actually more athletic than Dragic. But then, when you put a new player, like for instance today, they started Myers Leonard. Myers Leonard had only played one game in this bubble, so he has no conditioning, walang timing. He had 2 fouls right away. And then you put Kendrick Nunn. You have to change your schematics, your offense, your defense, how you align your zone. So napakahirap to. Having said that, although they will come back in game 3, they will try to attempt to come back. By the time it will be 2-0. I think Quinito is right. It will be it will go no more than 5 games now. I am a very big Eric Spoelstra fan. He is so nice to me every time I see him, whether I'm in Miami or at the United Center. Kahit tapos na ang media availability, he always talks to me. We always talk, just the two of us. Security, they can't do anything kahit na tapos ng media availability because he says it's okay, he can talk to me. So, because of that, yung loyalty, sometimes you're blinded by your loyalty. I should have picked LeBron James. But I didn't know they were gonna get hurt. So, anyway, sa akin lang is this. I really don't have a horse in the race. But I was rooting for a good series. But with these injuries, anticlimactic na. Hey, can you imagine this? For in the history of the NBA playoffs, ratings-wise, Game 1 of the NBA Finals was the worst since 1985. 7.8 million viewers. Although there are many variables because of the pandemic, there are so many devices now, makapanood ka na ng streaming or on your laptop, which doesn't count on Nielsen ratings. But the worst finals next to the Spurs and the New Jersey Nets in 2003, this one is ratings-wise. And if this Game 2 is gonna be a blowout, sino pa bang manood? I wouldn't. I'm sure I wouldn't. In fact, I myself, I'm no longer watching it in my TV in my living room. I'm watching it here in my computer. Pag close the fourth quarter, then I will watch. I will not agonize myself watching the Miami Heat getting beat by LeBron James.
All right, but again, the injuries have robbed many of the fans of what could have been an exciting series. But Quinito, does it take away anything from what Jimmy Butler has done? He has certainly found a home sa Miami Heat. We saw him previous to the finals. He was just a terrific glue. He made everyone look better. He did not have to take so many shots. And obviously, Jimmy Butler is back and at home with the Miami Heat.
Well, that's nice to see. No? That's a beautiful story of Jimmy Butler because he spent all those years in Chicago, and then he went to Philadelphia and then Minnesota. Yes, he has found a home. Dwayne Wade was the guy who pulled him in to the Miami Heat fold. But in the bubble, I think he's more made a name for himself selling his coffee than than doing much more. It's been a difficult series here for Jimmy Butler. Having said all of that about Miami, let's remember that in the 3 years that Miami won championships, 2006, 2012, and 2013, they lost Game 1 in every series where they won the championship. In fact, it was even worse in 2006 when Pat Riley was still coaching. They went down 0-2 to Dallas, and then they went on to win the next 4. Unfortunately, the adversary now of Miami is the Lakers, and it's not any of the teams that they beat to win those 3 championships. So it's a very different series now. The Lakers are so dominant, they're so determined, and Miami is reeling because they aren't able to match up physically. I say that the only way Miami could win this series is if Eric Spoelstra plays tactical against playing physical. So you've got to be able to play your game, not the Lakers' game. And being tactical means change the dynamics of the zone. Do a 1-2-2, do a 2-3, do a 3-2. Keep the Lakers guessing. Keep them at bay. Make them hit the outside shot. I mean, you have to live with that kind of a gamble. But just clog the paint and make sure that the Lakers don't get those offensive rebounds and the defensive rebounds to trigger the fast break. So you want to be able to stop the Lakers from scoring easy baskets by slowing down their offense. Then on the other end, you need to be able to run. But if you run, that means you have to force turnovers on the Lakers. You have to control the boards, and those two things are very difficult for Miami because of the physicality factor. So if Eric Spoelstra wanted to play tactical in this series, it's just so big a challenge to be able to go up against a team that is so physical and so fearsome with its front line.
Alam mo yung history na sinasabi mo, Quinito, is very correct. Yung the 3 times that Miami had fallen behind. There's also the 1985 Memorial Day Massacre, Homer, na binabanggit nila on TV where the Lakers got blown away, but they came back. So in other words, there's history about coming back in a series like this. And, are we selling Miami short too early? Or, regardless of what happens on those injuries, whether those players come back, this is a done deal with the way Game 1 was played. Homer?
Yeah, I remember that game. I mean, I'm an ardent student of the NBA history. That was 142-114. Boston Celtics over the Los Angeles Lakers. Scott Wedman went 10 for 10 from the field, which is also an NBA Finals record. But that was different because both teams were healthy. As you can see with the Warriors-Cleveland Cavaliers series, sometimes, Cleveland loses by 18, but then wins by 5 the next game. This one is different because the injuries, the personnel have changed. When you put Myers Leonard in lieu of Adebayo, there's such a downgrade of talent, and it's just so hard to match that one. And the same thing with Kendrick Nunn. I mean, Kendrick Nunn is very athletic. He was why he was drafted in the second round. As a matter of fact, he would have been a first round pick had he not have some domestic issues, which made him drop in the draft. But the talent was always there. But the savvy and the veteran leadership of Dragic is something you just cannot, you can't replace. So, having said that, this is no Celtics coming back from the Memorial Day Massacre. This is going to be Los Angeles Lakers, unfortunately. And ang akin lang is we will lose viewership. Wala nang manood. I mean, would you really watch Game 3 when right now? The last time I checked, it was 40-27 with the only chance Miami, I disagree with Quinito, is besides tactical, is they have to bring Alonzo Mourning. He works for the Heat now as the player development, as a vice president for player development. Other than that, levity aside, really no chance. Only hope, maybe just shoot the lights out like Houston did. Yeah. Give up 2 and make 3 on the other side. It worked for one game, but you can't. It's a wing and a prayer. It's so hard to shoot consistently.
You're relying on rookies. Tyler Hero was minus 35 offensive plus negative rating in game number 1. So, you're really relying on people who have never been there. And that's really the difficult part here. Quinito, just before we go, let me ask you, what does this finals, if ever LA goes all the way, do to the LeBron legacy?
Well, I think it will stamp it. But I think LeBron would have liked to clinch this championship fighting and beating a team that's fully loaded. Right now, it doesn't look like Miami is going to be able to put up much of a fight because of its depleted lineup. I think LeBron would have liked to beat a Miami team with a Bam Adebayo and Dragic on the floor. But still, it'll be his 4th championship. This is his 10th finals. He's got many more years to go. And I think AD, his star will continue to rise for as long as LeBron James is his tag team partner. I thought the pieces that the Lakers put together were very critical in this championship run. And they did load management on LeBron during the regular season and even in the bubble. But, just looking beyond the finals drama, I think this is a huge success story for the NBA.
Yes, I was going to point that out.
I think for the NBA to think out of the box and come up with a plan like this, a bubble situation, and having 0 COVID positive cases, and going through the playoffs and allowing us fans all over the world to enjoy the games once more. And we've been treated to a lot of exciting games, a lot of very unpredictable finishes in the playoffs.
Hindi lang yan, Quinito. Sabi mo nga, the imagination, the innovation of putting together this kind of a project, coming out of it unscathed. And, obviously, presenting a model to the world of how to do a sporting event is truly remarkable. It's a victory by itself para sa NBA. And, I think that's a tremendous takeaway from all of these. Regardless of what happens in this finals, I think the NBA should be applauded for what they have done. And Homer, clearly, many people spurned, kumbaga sa nanliligaw, maraming nagbasted kay LeBron just before the season. Kawhi, there was Paul George, there were many people who didn't want to go join up with LeBron. AD took the challenge. Does this now justify or at least vindicate the kind of star power and the kind of teammate that LeBron is to anybody, as well as the opportunity to finally win a championship if you've never won one?
Well, first of all, with LeBron, no doubt the championship will illuminate his legacy. 4 championships, regardless of the percentage. Even if he wins, that's a 40% success rate. And he will always be compared. Comparison is the thief of joy. Even if he wins 4 out of 10, they will always say Jordan went 6 for 6. So, insofar as his legacy, the other part of it is some fans, and LeBron can't help that, have never forgiven him for the decision, have never forgiven him for the way he chases rings. He goes to Miami with Bosh and Wade, but then when Dwayne Wade gets older and Bosh has some medical issues, he goes back to Cleveland where Kyrie Irving is waiting for him. Kyrie Irving left for Boston, then he goes to Lakers and then courts Anthony Davis. Insofar as Anthony Davis is concerned, parang perfect storm. This was a case of mutual seduction. Anthony Davis had not won anything in 8 years in the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah. LeBron James the window is closing. No star wants to play with him. So what does he do? He calls his agent, Rich Paul, and say, "Hey, your guy is Anthony Davis. You're also the agent. Make it work." They call Rob Pelinka, and the rest is history. Right. But as far as but still. Like Quinito said, they still had to play the game. They still had to go through the challenges of the bubble. They still have to overcome. While others, hindi kasalanan ng Lakers na na-injured si Adebayo. LeBron could have been easily be hurt. He's 35. He has 46,000 minutes on those knees, but he never got hurt. Hindi kasalanan ng Lakers. You can always argue. If some people, I'm a big Miami Heat fan, but I am not here. Excuses are for losers. I am not here to diminish what the Lakers are going to do, but I'm here to just say, congrats, LeBron. Maybe next year we beat you if the Clippers get a good coach.
All right, excellent point. But obviously, again, all the NBA fans have been treated to some terrific games. At tayo magpasalamat sa NBA. Quinito, I'll give you the last say here. As sweep as possible.
I think a sweep is very possible. I'm just hoping that somehow Miami is able to manufacture and steal a win, and that would be nice. I think it will also mean a lot to Coach Eric Spoelstra and his legion of Filipino fans. But that might be a little unrealistic at this time. It depends on how Bam and Gordon can come back, and even if they do, they're not going to be 100% in game number 3, and so on. But as I said, the story of the NBA this year goes beyond the finals. It goes beyond the playoffs. The story is bringing back the games to a worldwide audience in this pandemic. And for LeBron, we all know the impact that he has had and will continue to have on the league. Let's face it, Frank Vogel is the assistant coach. LeBron James is the coach of this team. He's the guy on the floor. You can hear it. He's telling the guys, you guard this man. You do this. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, he'll scold you. And you can hear it on the floor. That guy's the coach. Frank Vogel, he's a stool pigeon, but he'll take it. He's going to win a championship. But that's how valuable he is. And let's give the man credit. He felt so slighted, and he said he was pissed off when he got only a paltry less than 20 first place votes out of 101 that were polled for the MVP. I mean, the guy was pissed because he knows his value to the team and to the league, and then people are voting for Giannis, but again, as you said, Noli, maybe we can talk about that some other time because I question who those 100 journalists and one vote for the fans. I question who those guys are.
We certainly will. Umpisa tayo ng oras. I share your desire. A gentleman's sweep sana. But at least for this day, it was two gentlemen with me in Power and Play. Maraming salamat, Quinito and Homer, sa panahon. And we'll see you in the games, especially in the PBA, Quinito. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you again both. I-recap natin to when the finals is done. I think that would be a fitting ending to this series.
You have it. All right,
Thanks, Homer. Nice to see you again, Homer.
Same here, Quinito. Same here.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Quinito Henson at saka si Homer Sayson, ang ating mga kaibigan, covering the NBA. Paano? Tapos na po ang ating panahon. Medyo nag-overtime na nga tayo. Maraming salamat sa ating mga naging bisita at maraming po salamat sa inyong lahat sa pagsama sa Power and Play Saturday. Ito po si Noli na nagsasabi, tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit at lagi po nating sinasabi sa inyong mga gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid.
Power and Play with Noli Iyala. Game over na. Next Saturday ulit, Noli Iyala, Power and Play sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM.
Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, Big Boss Cement patag na, di basta bibigay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement. Matatag, di basta matitibag. Approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot